Okay, now we're at the bottom of the west cell block. Now I mentioned before this was the first cell block constructed here. And at the time that it was constructed, electricity was a relatively new thing. So these cells and their cell doors here are all manually operated. A guard who worked here on the cell blocks had the responsibility of walking down each one of the ranges every day. Most of these hasps are missing. They can slide those up and down all the way down the cell block, and it would open and close every one of those doors down there. If they wanted to open every one of those doors, you'd have to go down and manually unlock every one of those doors, but they still wouldn't open until you came down through that master lock. All designed into the building as part of the ventilation system were these big air tunnels that are underneath the floor. Now you get an idea there probably about one of the other interesting things about it is that the time that you spent in solitary confinement was not time that came off your prison sentence. So if you were in solitary confinement for a month, then your prison sentence just grew by a month. It was what they call dead time. I had a gentleman who came through on a tour one day. It was here in the late 70s, early 80s, he said. And he was here for 12 years, but he was only supposed to have been here for, I think he said 6 years. When he was 18 years old when he came through the door, he said, and he was real vocal about what he did here. He said, you couldn't tell me anything. He said, I was constantly in trouble when I was here. He said, I spent a total, not in a row, he said, but I spent a total of about 5.5 years in solitary confinement while I was here. That's why I was here for 12 years. It was 5 years. It was an additional 5 years.
Picture.
How things work inside the building. They would be one of the first ones in the shower. They'd come in here, they'd strip down, hang their uniform up, jump in the shower, get their shower, and it's done. As they got done with their shower, they had already picked out a person who had come in, was getting his shower, maybe this is his first time in the population, and he's coming in with a brand new uniform, or a newer uniform than his, and newer shoes than his. So as they got done with their shower, they went, this guy took off his uniform, and they switched uniforms on the guy. Now he'd have nice new clothes, new shoes, and everything else, and then he'd get the worst place to be than here, because it was a total lockdown, maximum security facility. Lo and behold, the inmates ended up getting paroled from there, and they met up at a bar in Columbus. They hatched a plan. One of the things they wanted to do was come up here and kill the guard who was responsible for sending them back here. So they're in this bar, and they figure out that this is what they want to do, but they don't really have a way to get here. So they solved that problem. They killed the bartender and stole his car. They actually ended up killing, besides the 3 that I'm going to tell you about here, 5 other people in Columbus. Stole the bartender's car, came up here. They went up to a house that's over on 545. They knew the guards and their families lived in these houses over here. They broke into one of the houses. They thought they had the right house. But in years we can figure they did, because it wasn't the guard that they thought they were. But anyway, the guard was there with he was actually a lieutenant, with his wife and their 20-year-old daughter. Having been seen, obviously, by these guys because they saw them when they broke in, they just went ahead and kidnapped all 3 of them. They found their naked bodies in a cornfield about 3 days later, where they'd all been shot in the head. To yourself. Volunteers come out here. We kind of ride herd on everybody, make sure nobody's in the places they're not supposed to be in. So basically, you got the building to yourself. You're not allowed to run around and scare people. At 11, they order like 13 pizzas to be brought in. And you get people in here that have, dowsing rods and infrared cameras and tripods set up with trip wires and just all kinds of stuff. The fun part for us as volunteers is we come out to the building and there's no electricity on out here at all, anything. We come out here without flashlights. Because I can walk in this building blindfolded and know where I'm at, where I'm going. And at nighttime, there's a little bit of light that comes through the windows. It's not that big a deal. But boy, is it very unnerving for people with flashlights when they come around the corner and somebody else is standing there. Just real quickly here, one of the things that I think it was the Travel Channel came out, and they said that they talked about the warden's wife who died out here on the scene in her bedroom, which we're actually up on the 3rd floor now. The bedrooms would have been over here in the area that would have been above us when we were on the 2nd floor. Anyway, the Travel Channel talked about one of the scariest things that they had was this mysterious X on the floor.
Oh yeah, there it is.
When the Travel Channel was here, they were talking about the warden's wife got killed. And they said this and that. And they're like, well, it's not where it happened, but here's our mysterious X on the floor. Anytime we'll see it because we're going to go this way. Halfway, just as we were talking about earlier. The guy who filmed Shawshank didn't want to have the added expense of having to get another set somewhere. So they came here, knocked out.
Is it on? Oh, yeah. That was so freaking cool.
Good.